I want to welcome you to my affinity space called Common Sense Media. It was born out of a desire by families, kids, and educators to look at and evaluate different digital media. One of the things that I like about this is that there are three different aspects to this website. The first one we're going to talk about is Common Sense Media. It was the first part of the website that was created for families and schools. What you'll notice is on the right we have things like ratings for movies, games, TVs, books, apps, website, and music. Let's look at this one for the new movie called Monkey Kingdom by Disney. If I scroll down here, you'll notice there are things for what's new in theaters, DVDs, and apps. I'm going to click on Monkey Kingdom, and a review of the movie comes up. You'll notice it's rated by age where it's appropriate, the quality of the movie, and there is an official trailer released by Disney as well as a movie review. What I like about this site is that it gives you a synopsis of the movie and then things that parents should know about the movie before they take their kids. Another thing that's important about this website is that not only can parents and teachers rate the movie, but so can kids, and they can write their own reviews about what they thought was good and important about seeing this particular movie. Another area that they've got are top picks for movie lists, books, recommendations, lots of good information for educators and parents on what their kids should or should not be viewing. Another important part of this website is the parent concerns. This is where it started in dealing with digital citizenship and taking care of our kids online. So having discussions about cyberbullying, privacy and internet safety, Facebook and Instagram, and the settings that go along with those, as well as violence in media. There is a wealth of videos for parents and teachers, as well as different kinds of blogs and education. Well, Common Sense Media was the first website, and so then came a site that was specifically for educators. This is called Common Sense Education. And the important part of this part of the website is that it's about and for teachers, helping them teach students about how to be good digital citizens as well as taking care of themselves online. The first big interactive piece was Digital Passport. This was created specifically for elementary students and talked about things like cyberbullying, what a digital footprint is, and how to protect yourself online. A new release lately has been Digital Compass. The important part about Digital Compass is that it is for middle school students, and it's set with these characters in their life going to school and what would life be like for them with the choices they make. So for example, we have this little young lady here who's trying to get an internship and she has to apply online. She's given different kinds of information as well as choices to make, and her choices determine how things turn out for this internship. You'll notice there's an educator guide, and you can play online or you can get an app. So again, we have all of the information on digital citizenship, scope and sequence, assessments, different kinds of interactive games that kids can play. Connecting families. This talks about how families relate to our media and how they can connect with each other. We also have the one-to-one essentials, and this is important for schools who are thinking about and wanting to use computers for every student, and things you need to think about and things you need to put in place to keep your kids safe. There's also a wealth of professional development, videos, and blogs. This brings me to my specific affinity space called Common Sense Graphite. What I like about this space is it's a space that's created for teachers by teachers, and there's a wealth of information. There's a wealth of information on a host of different kinds of topics. You'll notice, for example, reviews and ratings, top picks, Common Core Explorer, lesson flows, teacher center, boards, and blog. You can look at different types of hardware and software. You can look at subjects as well as grades. One of the places that I found specifically that I hung out was at the Top Picks. What I liked about this area was it specifically gave different kinds of things to look for. And they were appropriate by grade level. I spent a lot of time in Great Games for high schoolers because I'm designing a lesson on coding and gaming. One of the ones that I chose in this space was Code Combat. What I'd like you to notice is that it has a rating for learning and teaching, what it would cost, what grades it's appropriate for, and the platforms. There's a wonderful wealth of information on the pros and cons, engagement by kids, pedagogy, and support. Really nice overview and summary, and how it can be used for learning, skills, what the setup and takedown time is, and a place to comment. This was a place that I went in and commented by my students to discuss what they thought about it and my ratings for this. Another area that I wanted to point out is Common Core Explorer. Right now, they only have math and language arts. They will be adding science, but this is the Common Core standards, and it allows you to see the standards and how different kinds of materials and apps will fill into it. Another part of the lesson flows. These are assignments that are set up by teachers to address a host of different topics. And it's important and helpful in this affinity space because if you're a beginner or you're intermediate or advanced user, it's a great way to find materials to support what you're teaching. So there's an idea, the subjects, the grades, and how you can work with kids using these different types of applications. I also want to point out the Teacher Center. Great webinars and training videos. There's also a place to get certified. Like I said, this is an affinity space. And the great thing about this is it's for novice, beginning teachers as well as more advanced teachers. Now the cool thing about the boards is that this is a great place for teachers to save what they like, what they're thinking about, a space to provide all of their ideas in one space. Now this, for example, is my board that I created on different kinds of gaming and coding. It's something I want to refer back to. I want to keep it in one place so that I don't have to go all over and try to find what I'm looking for. And it's a way for me to house that kind of information. I want to bring in Jenkins, and I want you to notice here this highlighted passage that says, intrinsic motivation refers to activities that we do for their own sake rather than for external reward. One of the great things about joining this affinity space was it allowed me to reach out and see what other teachers were doing in specific areas. I am a novice at this. I'm not particularly very skilled, but it was a way for me to connect with other teachers and see the applications they're using and find out what they thought was good practice in teaching middle schoolers. As I've said before, bringing in Guy, I want to talk about some of the things he points out for an affinity space. For example, it's a common endeavor. It's not race, class, gender, or disability specific. The reason I really like this affinity space, as I've mentioned before, is because it's for novice teachers, it's for advanced or intermediate teachers, it's for family members, and it's for students. There is a host of information, a wealth of information that all groups can use. Another thing is, number 2, newbies and masters and everyone can share a common space. As I pointed out with the Monkey Kingdom, students and teachers and kids can look at content, they can rate it, and talk about quality and what it's good for. And it allows not only parents and educators a great place to go to find good information on digital media. I also want to point out from Guy, number 5, both intensive and extensive knowledge are encouraged. That means everybody gets to participate in this site. Not only do you come here for ratings and information about digital media, but you can also propose and give information about certain topics, things that you're seeing, and it allows everybody a chance to participate. Number 6, both individual and distributed knowledge are encouraged. In fact, teachers can become part of this system. Teachers can become part of the system through training videos and getting certified. Getting certified means that you actively participate in the Graphite site. You have to make so many comments on different recommendations by teachers. You have to submit lesson plans that have to be approved by the staff at Common Sense Media. And you have to show that you are willing to be a part of this community. And as Guy has stated in number 9, there are many different forms and routes to participation. Just as a teacher, it is very important to me to be able to look at the reviews and ratings on different kinds of applications and software and evaluate it for what it could be in my classroom. But I could take a more active role if I want and add to the body of knowledge by suggesting software, movies, things that could be used in the classroom, and providing that resource as a more advanced teacher to novices or students. One of the things I like about being part of an affinity space is a chance to really interact with people across the country. Not only do the boards allow me to capture my own information, but it also allows me to see what other people find is important. The blog format in this allows for good conversations and information on resources that people across the country are using. On this affinity website, once a month they have Happy Hour, which allows users to share videos on the latest apps and their uses in the classroom. I wanted to go back to Jenkins and go over some of the points that he talked about games, but also how we can relate these to Affinity Space. Right here it says that games were the threat of failure. The one great thing about Affinity Space is that when we have a chance to look at what other teachers are proposing as good applications or software for students, it gives you a chance to look at, practice with, and try different kinds of information without having to worry whether it's going to work well or not for students. Because this is a site for teachers, by teachers, they've taken a lot of guesswork out of the equation for you. Another point by Jenkins is that games foster a sense of engagement or immersion. Well, in that case, so do Affinity Spaces. You can spend hours and hours going over a variety of different media, trying to best for students, looking for assignments that might support your work with your students based on grade level and content. And it allows you to find best of what's out there for you to do. My favorite one by Jenkins is this one, Game Sequence Tasks to Early Success. They maintain a threshold which players feel challenged but not overwhelmed. I can tell you that by using my Affinity Space and looking at different information, it's really helped me to not be overwhelmed, but also challenge me to find new kinds of information that I can use in my classroom. And lastly, by Jenkins, games create a social context that connects learners to others who share their interests. Well, this is also true of an Affinity Space. As an educator, it's hard to find time to get together to create a wealth of resources and things we want to try out in the classroom. In my district, we might get together occasionally, once a month, every 6 months. But having these kinds of avenues to pursue and look for information really is helpful for me making good decisions on how to use technology in my classroom and how to promote better understanding of my students.